Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Hi, I'm 30 female. I have been married for 6 years to Rob, 35 male, and have 2 kids. Rob's mom, Karen, 60 female, is someone who absolutely loves her son, who is a single child, and absolutely hates me. She thinks I'm not good enough for him. When we were dating, she would always ask Rob to leave me, and when they had family dinners, for which Rob would invite me, Karen would purposely invite Rob's ex-girlfriend to make me feel uncomfortable and upset. At the dinner, she would keep praising the ex and putting me down. Rob would always stand up for me, and that's the only reason I stayed with him and married him. Post our marriage, Karen made my life a living hell because she wanted me to be a stay-at-home mom and wife. But I loved my job and Rob fully supported me. When my first kid was born, she didn't come to the hospital to visit me. She didn't help with the baby either. In fact, she made fun of my baby for getting my nose. I didn't want to make a big scene about it because I always thought it was better to be the bigger person. However, 6 months ago, my second child was born. It was a slightly complicated pregnancy and I had to stay with my baby in the hospital for a while. It was a C-section as well. My baby had a lung condition and was in the NCU for a week. With all of this, I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. So my husband, very thoughtfully, made sure Karen did not come anywhere near me or my baby till we were both fully recovered. We came home and my mom was there to take care of us and it was all good. A month ago, I started feeling much better and my baby was also doing well. So I told my husband to invite the family over so that they can come see our baby. I was so excited to see everyone. They gushed over our baby, inquired how I was doing, and got both of us little presents. We were having a great time till Karen came in. She came in and inspected the entire house, immediately complained that it was messy and compared it to how squeaky clean her house was. She saw my baby and said, "Oh, this child needs to be fed more. He nearly died in the hospital, didn't he?" I was appalled when I heard her say that. Then of course she had to attack me. She comes to me and says, "You have put on so much weight. You better get that in check or Rob will definitely leave you this time," and walk away sniggering. That was it. I immediately burst into tears. I took my baby and went into the room in the pretext of feeding him and putting him to sleep. My husband came to check in on me, but I was too upset to come out. The next day, Rob called Karen and screamed at her on the phone asking why she had to come and ruin everything. For which she said, "I can't help it if she, as in me, is so sensitive. I was just advising her, that's all." I was so done with her. 2 weeks ago, we decided to have a baptism for our child. I told Rob to please not invite his mother, because I didn't want her to cause any scene at the church or the lunch afterwards. And he totally agreed, so we started sending out invites to family and Rob had spoken to Karen, asking her not to come. Not soon after that, my phone was spammed with messages from Karen calling me a miserable bee for trying to rip her family apart. She said that not inviting her was disrespectful and that she was never going to forgive me. Am I the a-hole? Update. Karen didn't come for the baptism. However, she did send a bouquet of chrysanthemums to our house, fully aware that I'm allergic to them. Well, some people never learn, I guess. You're definitely not the a-hole, OP. However, your mother-in-law is an a-hole straight from the pit of hell. For a mother herself, she sure was horrible to you even though she kinda can relate to the pain that goes on with childbirth. And for her to talk about you almost losing a child like that, you should have sent her out of your home immediately after she uttered those words. You're not an a-hole for not inviting her to the baptism. She's ruining her relationship with her son all by herself, and she's too stuck in her ways to realize that. I honestly hope she remains gone. Congratulations on your child, OP. Story 2. Important context. Getting married this summer. Only invited people both me and my fiancé know well. There are no plus ones, only named invitees, so some new partners aren't invited. But long-standing ones we all know well are. My male cousin took offense to this. He has been with his girlfriend just over 6 months. We have never met her. I grew up with this cousin and was quite close, though we don't see each other that often now due to job demands. He told his mum, my auntie, when he received the invite, "Tell her I'm not going if my girlfriend isn't." My auntie told my mom, who told me. I reached out to him after some Reddit advice asking to talk, got left on read, texted a few days later, "Just let me know when works for you," as a reminder, left on read. When it became clear I wasn't gonna get a response, I texted, "I'm really sorry if your feelings have been hurt. I would love us to be able to talk about it and come to an understanding." Nothing, so I left it. So last week, the RSVP deadline approached. This cousin is one of 6, older brother and sister. One younger sis who is a bridesmaid aged 15 and younger twin brothers. I sent his older brother, again a cousin I've been really close with, a gentle reminder to RSVP. He replied straight away saying, "Oh yeah." I then asked if his brother was okay as I hadn't heard from him. Then this cousin launches into a whole rant about how he is totally on his brother's side. I've really upset him that if his brother isn't going, neither is he and his girlfriend of 10 years. I was distraught. Sent screenshots to my mom, who was trying to calm me down, and said forget about it. If they don't want to come, that's on them. Then I start thinking, will older sister come? She was the only one on that side of the family to RSVP so far and said yes. So again, I sent a text saying, "Hi, just wanted to double check. I've heard cousin A and B aren't coming because we can't invite cousin's girlfriend. As you've already RSVP'd, I just wanted to check you're coming even if they aren't." To which I got a similarly upsetting reply about how horrible I had been not inviting her. She is totally on her brother's side, but still wanted to come to see her little sister be a bridesmaid. I had kept it together all day, but I erupted in tears, sent screenshots to my mom, who replied saying she is absolutely raging and is uninviting the entire lot of them and not to engage with them. The older female cousin texted my mom to grow up. I got sent home from work on compassionate leave, a mess. My dad picked me up. So here's where I might be the a-hole. My 15 female cousin who has no involvement will now have been told from her mom she's not a bridesmaid, not going, and I feel so bad. I love her and she's done nothing wrong. She was excited to be one. I was thinking about reaching out to say, as far as I'm concerned, she can still be one, but in truth, I don't think her mom would let her anymore, and it just feels like completely unfair collateral damage. But this is really hanging over me. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I messaged my cousin and I don't know if I feel better or worse. I just feel apprehensive. I told her any choice is absolutely okay and she doesn't even have to reply to me if she doesn't want to. I told my mom and she thinks I shouldn't be contacting any of them, including her, as she's a child. But it's been playing on my mind all week. My mom said she knows how this works and it's never straightforward, so has advised I don't reply to any messages from any of them and don't reach out. But I felt so bad about my little cousin. Not the a-hole, OP. You had a budget wedding. You didn't invite people you didn't know. If you made an exception for him, people would have gotten hurt. You tried to reach him to explain, but he wouldn't talk to you again and again. Instead, he badmouths you to his family and yours, making sides. At any point, he hasn't talked to you, hasn't returned your messages, and hasn't respected your budget and your choices. I say let it go now. It sucks, but there's really nothing you can do about it. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. You have a mother problem. Your mother's conversations with these relatives is just stirring the pot. She is a terrible middleman. Think about it. If you remove your mother and all her conversations from how it played out, would this big mess have even happened? Your one cousin would have stayed a no and maybe 1 or 2 others in solidarity, but not all this fallout. You should be communicating directly with your guests and don't ask one guest to speak on behalf of another. That's inappropriate. Your larger cousin situation is probably not fixable at this point, but it's worthwhile to try to hold on to the young bridesmaid. Give it a try, but leave your mother out of it. Absolutely not the a-hole. If the cousin had any inkling of respect, he would understand that his girlfriend is not someone necessary to attend this wedding. The understanding was clear that long-term partners already had their own invite. Even if they stayed together for a long time, you do not know her at this point. There is nothing wrong with wanting the people you actually know and love to be there with you. And this side of the family supporting him is just as egotistical, all over someone who may well be a peach, but someone that he's been dating for 6 months. Where even is Miss 6 months in all of this? Nowhere, not the a-hole, and now you know their true colors. I'm sorry to say this, but your mom is right. Forcing to talk to your minor little cousin would just add on to the drama right now. She may be 15, but she's still a child, and your aunt would most likely raise holy hell if you try to reach out. Perhaps you can tell her much later after everything has calmed down. It's sad, but things happen, especially when the adults in your family have issues. Your cousin, the one with the girlfriend, went about this the wrong way. Instead of being a drama llama and going scorched earth, he could have talked to you first and tried to tell you how wonderful this girlfriend is and how he would love that you meet her before your wedding. Then she wouldn't have been a stranger to you. His siblings are just as immature. Let it go for now. Story 3. So I, 31 female, am currently 4 months pregnant with my fiancé, 32 male. We've been together for 7 years and are planning to get married soon. We've been meaning to for years, but I've never seen it as urgent until we found out that I'm pregnant recently. We're both over the moon and really excited. However, I haven't become overcome by mommy fever or anything. Now, I have been lucky enough to have not experienced any morning sickness or nausea or anything like that, or any extreme symptoms in my pregnancy. However, last week I started getting absolutely killer headaches. I would describe it as if someone had taken an ice pick to my eyeball. I'm someone who usually drinks 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day for context. I told my husband about these headaches and started to get really worried because I thought I was going to have the flu or maybe something worse, which could be bad for the baby, but he didn't say anything. After a week or so, the headaches pass, but I've noticed I'm a lot more tired than I used to be. I tell him this as well, and he still doesn't say anything. Well, this morning I found a pack of decaf coffee empty in the bin, and suddenly it dawned on me what's been happening. I'm the only one of us who drinks coffee, and he's the one who did the shop 2 weeks in a row now. I confront him and he admits that when he's offered to do the weekly shop recently, he's just been reusing my usual coffee tin and buying the decaf version of the same product because caffeine is bad for pregnancy and he knows I don't have the will to do it on my own. But look, I've quit now and can spend the rest of the pregnancy without it. He said he didn't want to make me feel bad about my vice by confronting me and that it would be easier to quit if I wasn't doing so intentionally. So he did all 3 of us a massive favor. I've tried to quit caffeine before as a detox a few years ago and only made it 2 days, he points out. I lost it and said he was a horrible person. Basically, I started packing my belongings and said that the way he acted is evidence that he actually not only completely lacks respect for me, but that he caused me immense stress. Knew it and still didn't own up until I had to confront him. He is refusing to apologize, so I'm staying at a friend's until he does. However, he doesn't think he did anything wrong. He and his friends think I'm being the a-hole because he was just doing what's best for his baby's health, and that I'm completely overreacting and that my reaction is just pregnancy hormones. I'm really upset and feel like I'm making a massive mistake. Am I the a-hole? Info: since people are asking, he has never confronted me about my caffeine intake or so much as brought it up. I didn't realize he even paid attention to it, and one of us has always purchased it for months until now, despite me being the sole drinker of it in the household. My doctor hasn't expressed concern about caffeine, but I would have been happy to slowly reduce my intake if he had mentioned it, which he hadn't. I'm already avoiding fish and all processed meat. Obviously all alcohol and overcooking all my beef, so I'm not unwilling to make lifestyle changes for my pregnancy. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. As a fellow coffee addict, 4 to 6 cups a day, I was very specifically warned by OB not to quit coffee cold turkey, but to taper down to 2 cups. The reason being that while yes, caffeine isn't good for developing fetuses, withdrawals are much worse and can cause harm to the baby. So not only did your boyfriend disrespect you, he actually could have harmed the baby and did succeed in causing you physical pain. He crossed a border, and rather than apologize when caught, he doubled down. This makes it a much bigger deal because it's an indication that he's going to continue to override her decisions if he thinks he knows better. That's not only a violation, but it's dangerous. What else will he do without telling her? An apology is so cheap. It costs nothing. But he can't even give that. He's demanding submission. He's saying, yes, I overrode your decision, and I'll do it again. He could have given an insincere apology, but he couldn't even do that. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Not admitting the truth is as good as lying. I'm familiar with caffeine headaches, and forcing you to go cold turkey was actually probably worse. I don't know though, I'm not a doctor. Quitting any addictive substance involves tapering off of it. Plus, doctors recommended those who consume caffeine to limit it to 200 milligrams a day, and it is deemed safe for the baby. He lied, disregarded your health, disregarded the baby's health, made choices for your body without communicating with you first. Trust would be out the window for me at this point, and it would take a lot more than an apology to make me come back.